Before we jump into today's show, I've got a really exciting announcement to make. The autumn cohorts for Start Your Podcast group program are now open. There are 5 dates between September and October, and it's a 6-week program that will get you launched before Christmas. So if podcasting was on your to-do list this year, if you really want to get your podcast up and done by the end of 2023, then come and join me for one of those cohorts and let's make it happen. I have a free masterclass available for you called Understanding the Power of Podcasting. You can go over to donnaeade.com/masterclass, watch the masterclass and get access to that enrollment. I hope to see you in one of the autumn cohorts very soon. That's donnaeade.com/masterclass. Let's get back to the show. You're listening to the Wedding Procast UK. My name's Donna, I'm your host, and today we have Lynnette Chasmer with us, and she is a fantastic bridal hairstylist. So for all the stylists out there, listen in today. This is a fantastic episode to listen to, and please do connect with Lynnette. She has a fantastic Instagram account where she inspires hairstylists every day. So let's jump in. To the podcast. I am so excited today. We have a lovely guest with us. I love it when we have guests on the show. We have Lynnette with us today, and she is going to tell you a little bit about who she is and what she does, and then we're going to get into it. So Lynnette, would you like to just introduce yourself, because I haven't said your surname because I will butcher it, and I butchered it before Christmas because Lynnette was one of my top inspiring people to watch through 2020 that I did before Christmas, and I'm pretty sure I butchered her name on there, so I will let her say her full name and let you know who she is and what she does.
Thank you so much, Donna. Thank you for having me on as well. So I'm Lynnette Chasmer. That's my name. Don't start me on Lynnette because everybody spells that wrong as well. The amount of professionals I have to message to say, could you just amend my first name? It's got 2 N's, not 1. So that happens on a probably weekly basis.
Now, we will talk about this in a bit, but I actually was listening live to when you did one of your videos where you were actually talking to another Lynnette in the comments, and you were talking about the different spelling. So I know 2 N's, 2 T's, 2 E's.
That's the one. Yes, complicated. Then the other Lynnette's got 1 N. So,
yeah. And so you are a hairstylist and you specialise in bridal.
Yes. So I've been a hairstylist since I left school, which is like 100 years ago. And I decided to do bridal and up my game a bit 9 years ago, actually. So I've only been doing it 9 years. I mean, it seems a long time ago looking back. I've done so much. But yeah, I just wanted to up my game. My daughter had grown up. I felt I could commit to it, spend the time. I wanted to be able to focus on my brides and the business, and it started from there, really. I went traveling around the world and decided along the way that I'll have a go and do wedding hair. Came back and found a really good course, which was very hard to do. Back then there was not a lot of good hairstyling courses out there. They were kind of the college style course that just showed you the basics. So I eventually found a good one, and it was her very first day of doing this course. But I came away and it just inspired me and gave me confidence, because you just need to, I know how to do hairdressing, but it was just learning how to do things the right way and finding out new methods. And just from doing this one course, which I didn't even do any hair, we sat and watched. It literally inspired me so much. I've always been very, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it properly. So I wanted to create a website. So I did that. I had to think of a name. So I wrote down about 15 different names, and I asked for different people, what one do you like the best? And there was a clear winner. So I think that was a really good thing to do. And back then I was called Bridal and Prom Hair Design. That was my business name, but that dated quite quickly. It then became apparent I didn't really have a time to do a lot of proms either. So that's when I reinvented it, had a new website made, and the guy actually said, why don't you call it your name? I was like, really? He said, yeah, your name. And that's how the name thing started, and I wish I'd never used it, but Yeah, now it's Lynnette Chasmer Bridal Hairstylist, but also I'm kind of liking Lynnette Chasmer the Wedding Hair Pro now as well, and that's more my teaching side, because I also now teach wedding hair. So kind of two little businesses with my name that is always spelled wrong.
Which is excuse my French, is a bugger, because if it's in your URL and people are spelling it wrong.
I think people might sometimes think I'm a bit precious about it, but when it's actually my business name, and also if you type Lynnette in wrong on Instagram, you don't find me.
No.
So I had a magazine article published in Australia because I won a competition, and I didn't get to see it, and I had to email them in the end and ask to see it, and they sent me a link and they spelt my name wrong. So of course I had to just, it's lovely, it's a lovely article, thank you, but you did spell my name wrong. I never heard of them. I'm used to it. I mean, I will actually email people if, like, for instance, the Wedding Industry Awards, I've won the East of England Wedding Hairstylist of the Year in November, and I just feel like, I do have to email beforehand just to give them the correct spelling of my name. Because it can be spelled wrong. So I haven't said anything. I've had certificates with my name spelled wrong. Anyway, we won't talk about my name for the whole
the drama of the name. But it's been such a wonderful growth for you to see that you've gone from being and I just wanted to just before I go into that, hairdressing and hairstyling are actually two different things. And
totally.
I learned just yesterday from watching the other live that we were talking about before we recorded. And when I thought about hairstyling, I thought, you couldn't really make a business just on hairstyling, but obviously you can, because people do. But it is a completely different skill set, isn't it? So you've got, with hairdressing, you've got the cut, you've got the colour, and you've got the styling. There may be more, you can correct me. And they're all very different skill sets, and you do get people that specialize in the different areas. And so that's something that I think not a lot of people realize when they're trying to book their hairdresser, is that actually you need
totally. I mean, over the years I've had brides come for a hair trial, and they've already had a hair trial with their local hairdresser or their mum's hairdresser, and it hasn't gone well, because hairdressers are fabulous at their cuts and colours. I mean, amazing. I couldn't do what they do, but they don't focus on the wedding hair. And sometimes you might go along and they've got two hairstyles. That's all they can do. So they'll be shown a picture, but the girl will just end up with one of those two hairstyles. So, many times over the years, and it's very, very awkward as well, because when it is your actual hairdresser, and then they've got to have the conversation that actually, I don't want you to do my hair. I'm going to actually have a bridal hair specialist. So, and my dad's always ringing in my ears. I remember many, many years ago, he said, do one job and do it properly. So focus on that one thing. So people often say, like, do you do makeup as well? And I thought, no, I mean, I could have done. I learned makeup at college, but I didn't like doing makeup. I didn't like touching faces and things like that. So hair is my passion, and that is the one thing I focus on. And I want my business to be the best it can be. Why shouldn't I try and aim for the best business you can have? Because that's what I want. I want to. Someone else once said as well, with your business, stand on the rooftops and shout about your business, because that's how you get it out there. Don't be shy about your business. Be proud of it. So,
absolutely.
Do a lot of shouting, don't I?
And it's so true. And I love that your dad instilled that in you from a young age, because it is. And in all of my business learnings, one of the things that I hear again and again is niche down, niche down, niche down. And one of the things that I learned from one of my mentors was niche down to blow up. And, people so think that, if I only do hair and I don't do makeup as well, I'm not going to get as many clients. I'm not going to get, but you get a reputation.
Passion for it as well. You've got to love your job. No, you couldn't do this if you didn't like it, because there is so much involved in, I mean, you know yourself, but having your very own business, I mean, the least thing I probably do in my business is actual hairstyling, because nowadays, especially with social media, you've got to have a really good website. I mean, a bride's going to look at your stuff within, 3 minutes, decide if she wants to message you or not. So how you come across before someone's even emailed you is so important. you know, especially with Instagram. I mean, I live on Instagram because brides see my work there. They see my current stuff. I mean, now I did the IGTVs this year. So people, it's very strange because I'll get an email now and they'll say, I've seen you on IGTV, but they will talk to me like they know me. Because they feel like they know me, but I don't know who they are. But yeah, they feel
fame, people. She's got fame.
They've got a connection with me, which is great because they're already comfortable when they come and have a hair trial, or when eventually they're allowed to come and have a hair trial. Haven't done many since March, but yeah, it's quite interesting how they'll message you like they know you and things like that. So
and that is so true, because that is exactly how we connected, because I've watched your IGTVs and I just fell in love with your personality and how bubbly you are and positive, and I was just like, I love this woman. And I'm not a hairdresser, but I'm sitting there on a Sunday morning watching your lives and watching you talk with people and doing these styles, and I was just like, oh, this is brilliant.
It was funny actually with the first lot. When I first started doing them, I used to get on the family WhatsApp and say, can everybody just watch me, please? Just give me some support. And my brother was hilarious because we'd have a chat after each one. And he just said, I just popped on just to watch. He said, I watched the whole thing. He goes, I'm watching every Sunday. He goes, I know who everybody is. He goes, I love it. I love all the chat. Because we don't just do hair. We literally chat and sort the world out and have a laugh. Just
world to rights.
Yeah, don't make it so formal. A bit like now, really chatting. So yeah, it's nice.
Exactly. So that's a little bit about where you have sort of been and how you've got to where you are. And you said that you have now moved into the training side as well. So you're not just doing the front-facing bridal, but you're actually teaching as well. Do you want to talk a little bit more about what that?
So, I mean, I've actually been teaching along with another colleague for a good few years now. We set up the wedding hair workshops, which I think we had 2 or 3 years of doing that. We were getting busy and stuff, so that kind of dialed down a bit. So done some successful group training. I've often done one-to-one training where people come along for the day, get such good feedback. And I wanted to do that because, like I mentioned earlier, the first course I went on inspired me so much. It wasn't even about learning the hairstyles. It was giving me that confidence. I can do this. And I wanted to be able to do that to people. And it's a nice feeling to know that you're inspiring confidence in people and making them pick up their dollies or their hairbrush and creating these hairstyles and being proud of their work. And a lot of it is more about the confidence that you can do it than the actual ability to do it. And yeah, had great feedback. So anyway, during lockdown, I've created the Wedding Hair Pro. And it's very hard being in this industry because I don't know about you, but with being in the wedding industry, you're literally 2 years ahead because your bookings are coming in that far away. So my whole life is 2 years ahead because I do when I go away, I've got to book that in the diary. Otherwise it'll end up I won't be able to go anywhere. So if you go on my website, I've got a whole section for the education. But yeah, it's all set up and ready to go. I just can't do anything. I want to do a road trip. I want to go around the UK and do the Wedding Hair Pro road trip and do.
Oh, wow, that would be cool.
Pop-up courses, day courses. So it's all, I know where I'm going near enough, but I can't advertise dates because I can't do it right now. I also do wedding hair in Crete, and I want to do a retreat for hairstylists to come over.
I know. Come. I mean, I'm not a hairstylist, but I'd love to come.
I'll do a little bit of hair, but there'll be a lot of eating and drinking and singing. So, you know, that I know exactly how that's going to be panned out. It's all written on my website, but again, can't do a date. So I'm feeling quite hemmed in where I've always thought 2 years ahead. First lockdown, I learned I had to be 2 weeks ahead. And now I feel like it's 2 days ahead, you can think. And so, yeah, but the education is good to go. I could even do it online as well. I could do video via video link, but it's nice to be face to face.
It is, yeah. And I think with hairstyling as well, it can be so intricate. I know I was watching, you know, because I'm a little bit addicted. I think I would have been a hairdresser in a former life, you know. I love playing with things. I've got a lot of it. But I love watching it. It fascinates me. And the one I was watching yesterday, they were doing a 4 braid, and one of the ladies was talking about a hand placement and how she's having to change that because she's teaching people online to do things.
Yeah, you have to be very.
It is a little bit more difficult, I think, for you to do it. It's better in person because they can be right over your shoulder watching. And so I do understand.
Right. That's the IGTVs. I learned that when I first started doing them. It took a while to get used to the angle to be at, and you have to, it's something else to think about that you've never really thought. And also you're suddenly explaining how to do something which you don't do when you're doing bridal hair. You're not just explaining to the bride what you're doing. Suddenly you've got to do the technical terms, and well, you've watched me. I mean, I words, I can't say things like the I can't say it, so I can't say I can't say that word. There's a lot of words I get tongue-tied, and when you're doing it live, it's like, oh well.
So if somebody was interested in doing some of your courses, whether it be the road trip when it can go ahead, or booking time with you on a one-to-one basis online, who are they kind of aimed at? Are they, can you go right from, somebody who just, knows how to do a plait and wants to get better at doing things, or is it more somebody who is a stylist and, just wants to improve a particular technique or something?
Obviously the one-to-one is more in depth, and I will make that to suit that person. So I can scroll right back to the beginning and teach the basics, or if they're quite advanced, or what I do say, if they want to just come along for the day and there's one hairstyle that they're struggling on, we concentrate on that one hairstyle, which is quite good to do, because a regular one-to-one, I usually try and fit in 4 hairstyles plus the prep. Now the prep's very, very important, and a lot of people don't do a lot of prep. You have this is especially important for wedding hair. It doesn't matter for going out hair so much, but wedding hair has to last all day and all evening. And I say to my brides, once that's done, that is going to look like that all day long. When you send me a picture at midnight, your hair will look exactly the same. And I mean, obviously things drop a little, and if the hair's down, it's going to move slightly. But so the group classes are pretty much for stylists already doing it, but with demand, I could set up a small group of beginners. So I could do beginners, intermediate, advanced. It's all there in my head. My head's terrible. My head does not stop planning things. So I know 2 weeks creating it on the website, getting it all out there, out of my head. And it's not just about writing what you're doing with the website, is it? You've got to create the page. Each page has got a flow. I mean, oh my goodness, that took forever. So yes, I've learned how to navigate the Wix website quite well. I'm a web designer as well.
Oh, bless you. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about is, and we've touched on it already, is what you did during 2020, because obviously, weddings were on off all year, and I don't know how it was for the hairdressing industry itself with that, because obviously hairdressers were able to sort of go in and out of work as well. But some of the things, because brides were having these smaller weddings, and I'm not sure, maybe you can speak to this, a lot of them were like drop-in things. Obviously they weren't having the reception, so the DJ wasn't getting his work and things like that. But I saw a lot of brides that were sort of dropping the makeup and not having their makeup done, because they'll do that when they have the big thing. They were just having the 15, so they didn't bother. So I'm wondering whether hairdressers and makeup artists missed out even on the ones that did go ahead.
It was quite an interesting involvement with it, because pretty much every single wedding for 2020 either cancelled or postponed. Some of the postponements I was unable to do because I might be in Crete, or I had another wedding booked already. So what actually happened, which was quite strange, was when we came out of the first lockdown, I started getting inquiries, and I ended up with 8 bookings for the year. None of them had been booked previously. So these were sort of last minute bookings. So I didn't get anybody cancel hair, and their wedding was still going ahead. So I always think hair, they kind of prioritize hair over makeup as well, because it's easier to do your own makeup than your own hair. I mean, some of the styles I do, I can't even do them on myself. So, so let alone somebody else doing them on themselves. So I don't feel like if the other weddings had gone ahead, I don't feel like as hair and makeup, I don't think you'd be cancelled as much as other things, because bride wants to look beautiful on the day with her dress. Yeah, so all the weddings I'd done, some had 30, some had 15, and some were only just allowed to have the just to get married. They're all, the feedback, they are so happy they did it, and they had an amazing day. They had an amazing time, and they're all thankful that I came along and was there. And because I was at the beginning of the day. Yeah, they've had their trial before, so we know each other. So it's a nice morning, and they all had beautiful weddings, and they were really happy that they went ahead. So, but I just had one poor bride. She was getting married on the 20th of December. And of course, on the 19th at 5 p.m, Boris announced that they couldn't get married. So they were in bits. And
yeah,
I was so upset. That's when my spirit broke, I think. Through the whole year, that's when it broke, because they just wanted to get married. She told me that her fiance had just burst into tears. She'd never seen him cry before. It's just awful.
Yeah. And was that a postponement, or was that their original day?
They moved it all the way through. She kept her day, and
so that's even worse, really, because when it started, we all kind of were like, oh, by summer we'll be all right, and then as it went on, we were like, oh, and for somebody to have been at that end of the day when it first started, they would have been thought, we're going to be absolutely fine in December.
Yeah, we wouldn't have had a clue. I mean, I still had people booking. I mean, she must have booked me. She probably booked me in about June. So and back then you're like, oh, that's fine, that'll be fine. Yeah. But then you get nearer and nearer. I mean, just the way it happened was left a very bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
With it all.
And that would have been the same I just feel for any bride and groom who had that happen, that the announcement happened and their wedding was supposed to happen in a few days after that. It's just
they were brave enough to keep going, and they were going to go for this date, and that's what they were going to do, and then that happened. So yeah, that was sad. And yeah, well, they'll get married, but we've got to sort out another date. So
yeah. So I'm guessing that from what you've just said there, that you had a lot more time on your hands than you are used to having in a year. Lynnette, what did you do with yourself in 2020 to keep yourself so positive and so bubbly? I mean, you say your spirit broke on that one, which was the 20th of December. That was a long time that you were flying the flag and keeping positive. What were you up to?
I do say to people, I used to be a wedding hairstylist.
In a former life.
So what do I do? Well, I'm a firm believer in positivity. I like to turn negatives into positives, sickeningly so. Some people I must really get on their nerves. Years ago I read The Secret. I didn't read it, I watched the DVD, which is a weird one because I watched it at the time. I thought it's a bit American and the music in it, and I just watched yeah, that's good, but I know all that. And then about a week later, I just started becoming more positive. It's a really weird thing to say because I'm not into all that, but it changed me. So I mean, there on in. So lockdown happened. Very luckily, I'd had a very busy year the year before because I turned 50 and I literally milked it for all it was worth. So by March, I needed a break from alcohol. I did dry March. Like the beginning, just got back from Thailand. Did a month in Thailand in the February. So lucky that I got to go there before it. And it's all just starting to happen. Yeah. So we had to wear masks on the plane. No, we didn't. The stewards had to wear masks on the planes, but it was all just starting to happen. So by the time we got back, we couldn't believe how it escalated. And within 3 weeks, we were locked down. So anyway, dry March, very glad I did that because it was all such a weird thing happening, wasn't it? And I think, back then I lived by myself and I don't think that would have done me good going to the bottle. So I started looking, everyone had started, there was a bit of hair thing going on Instagram, and I love Lorna Evans' education. I did a course with her 6 years ago. She's from Australia, but she came over to London. And so I knew of Lorna and I'd followed her and joined her free education, which a lot of people did, and I just did one of her hairstyles and posted it, and she messaged me and said, I loved your work, would you come on and do a live? I was like, no. What?
Me?
Yeah. So I was like, no. I said, she said, you could film it. So I had a little go. I'd never filmed anything, wouldn't know how to video myself. So that was all a new thing. So I did that and I watched it. I was like, that's awful. so wooden. So I messaged you and I thought, do you know what? I'll do it. I'll do a live. Why not? So what can go wrong?
Famous last words.
It went a little bit wrong. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So that was my first live. It was on Facebook, on a Facebook group. And she told me how to do it all. And I was all set up. I was so nervous. And she came on first. And then as she came out, I had to go in and press go live. So she did, this is Lynnette, blah, blah, blah. And I was the first one to do it as well. She's not asked anybody before. So I was the very first person. So
bless, fun. No pressure.
And, yeah, so I pressed go live, and for 20 minutes, I didn't realise I was on my own personal Facebook, which I thought, because names were popping up that I'm friends with, I thought, oh, that's nice. They've joined the group to watch me, because I'd sort of said I'd be on it. And then my friend Claire popped up. She goes, you're on the wrong group. I was like, oh, no. So I'm literally live on Facebook, crapping myself inside, trying to not be on the outside and saying, oh, I'm on the wrong page. Oh, I'm on the wrong group. Sorry, guys. If you want to carry on watching me, then join this group. Turned it off. I'm hyperventilating. Lorna must have been having a hissy fit.
She's like, where is she?
I had to be calm, get back on the group, press live, it'll be fine. So I'd half done this hairstyle. I had to undo it all and start again. That was my first experience of going live. So it couldn't have got much worse. So very quickly after that, I'd already had in my head that I wanted to do some interview people. So because of Lorna giving me the platform, because she's very well known, I suddenly, all the people that had watched me and obviously felt for me because of what I did wrong, all started following me as well. And we had this nice little group. So I decided I wanted to interview hairstylists for a whole week, one after the other. And they just started doing it where you could have two people on Instagram Live. My brother had done it. He's a really successful artist. He'd done it with another artist a few weeks before. I thought, that's a good idea. I could do it with hairdressers. So I thought, right, I'm going to ask Lorna. She can only say no.
Yep. Well done, you.
Yeah, she said yes. Filled up the whole week with interviews. It was fantastic. Straight away, there was sort of 40 odd people watching. It was very good numbers straight away. And then I thought, right, by the end of the week, I thought, well, I know what I'm going to do on the Saturday. I'm going to do a hairstyle. And that's how I started doing every week, doing a hairstyle. I did a hairstyle every week for 12 weeks, I think. Got guests on, made it a little bit quirky, made it fun. And I loved it. And yeah, I mean, this time last year, I'd never, ever done a video call, let alone something like that. So it just shows you what you can achieve when you set your mind to it. And yeah, I have Lorna to thank for that, because I think if I hadn't done that hairstyle and her messaged me, I probably wouldn't have done any of that. No. So, but what's been fantastic is the response I've got. I mean, to me, to be honest, I was doing it to keep myself sane. I lived by myself at the time. My daughter's back here now. But mentally, it kept me going, because doing an Instagram Live isn't just about an hour of hairstyling. You have to plan it and what you're going to do. And then you've got to do the info to put onto Instagram. So it's probably 3 days work altogether, I think, when you do an Instagram Live. So that kept me busy for 12 weeks. And I'm thankful for it. And yeah, the response I got from people, I get so many messages from people now to say that, they now do a live. And I inspired them to do it. Everyone's got their dolly heads out, and it's good to chat in group. Like I've got a group going on called Wedding Hair Warriors on Facebook, and hairdressers can join, and we just chat. We just, you can ask questions, you can show off your work. Everyone is so supportive. That's what I found in the hairdressing industry. There is so many supportive people. I've got friends now in Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, all over the world, and we've never met. We've had video chat privately, and we are all the best of friends. And we've arranged to have a meetup in December in London, but obviously that got cancelled. So we've now changed it to April. So the ones that are in the UK and even Ireland, someone's flying over. It's been I'm taking the positive out of it. Yeah. I'm not going to dwell in the negativity. It's out there, but you've got to have your mindset and create a nice positive vibe in life, and set goals as well. Still set goals,
I think that's so lovely. And what it really says to me is, look at what you've done for yourself, but what it's actually done for your business. And to me, going live, it can be so powerful. And you are living proof of that, because going live, you reach different people. And I don't think, I must have been following you to have got the notification that you had gone live. But I don't remember you from before that.
No.
It's the lives that got me. And then I was just like, oh, and then I'd be sort of interacting with your post more and looking out for you, because we have that connection. And like you said before, you know, you don't know these people that are watching you. You see their names scroll up their handles and things, and for me, I'm on my society page, so you don't see my name at all.
I'd never have said yours out loud, would I?
So it's like you have all these people watching you, and they are connecting with your personality, connecting with who you are as a person, and have this understanding of who you are from that. You've got no idea who they are at all. But when they're looking for, and you know, people will follow you because you're a hairstylist, because they're stylists, but also people will follow you because women love their hair. You know, we like to see pretty things happening with hair. So everybody will be following you for different reasons.
It's the chat as well. It's like almost being in a salon, having a chat with your hairstylist.
That is exactly what I was going to say. That is one of the things that I have missed. I've missed 2 appointments this year with my hairdresser. I think I've had 3, but I missed 2, and obviously I would have had more than that, but it was because, you know, lockdown happened, one got cancelled, and then as soon as lockdown was open, we booked one, and then by the time my next one was due, we were in another tier whatever to stop it happening. So and that is such a cathartic time for women especially, to be in that chair and having those conversations. And watching one of your lives was just like, you know, being at the hairdressers and listening to my hairdresser talk.
You're sorting the world out, aren't you? Like you do with girly friends. And it's good to see that, oh, look, she's human. Yeah. I make mistakes. I'm no way perfect. And I'm always looking to better myself. And I also, there's a ladder, there's a chain of it, isn't there? I mean, there's a lot of people I look up to and want to be like. So, you know, it's a circle really. But it's the chat and talking about good things, bad things, but people can then think, oh, she feels like that too. Or, you know, if I've got someone on with me, which I quite often have, like we're styling together, we're chatting and sorting out, talking about what's been happening. And actually, we didn't talk about COVID that much, really. It's more an hour to forget about it, really, and have some fun and ask questions to the person that I'm doing a hairstyle with.
So you said earlier that you are all for goal setting and still goal setting even during this. What are your sort of goals going into 2021? What are you hoping for?
So I started doing wedding hair in Crete 2 years ago. The year just gone would have been a very successful year. So the Crete, you know, the education side with the Crete, going to do weddings out there, you know, I'm already busy enough this year. I don't really need a lot more brides I'm 3 months out there, and I think I've got 9 or 10 weddings. But one of the things I want to do, which actually going to Crete was the reason for this, is to also have time for myself. I live and breathe my business. I really do. Because I'm single, I say I'm married to my brides. I need to switch off sometimes, and I'm not very good at switching off because my brain is always evolving about what to do next. So going to Crete was my time to, in 3 months, do some weddings, but also go to the beach, climb a mountain, swim in the sea, drink the wine, just live life. And I did it very successfully the first year. We climbed, me and my friends, I've got some friends out there, so we got up at 4:15 in the morning and we climbed a mountain to watch the sunrise. We went and did a beach clean. I organised a beach clean because the beaches out there, some of them are terrible with the plastic. So we organised a beach clean one day. I walked a lot. And the best things I did cost nothing. It was seeing the beauty of the place and just slowing down. It's important to do that for yourself. So, but that evolved into, I'd like to do the retreat in Crete. That's my new thing that I'd like to do, and I know it will work. I know the structure of it, so it's just getting, again, bums on seats, getting people to pay and come along and enjoy it. And it will be such a lovely experience for hairstylists to all get together, and basically like IGTV, we'll have 5 days of it. So
that sounds like so much fun.
I'll just organise one for just normal people. I don't know. I'll become a tour rep. There you go. You got my brand now. So no, I've just always got plans. So education for me is the thing that is on hold, and I would like to focus on a bit more once I'm allowed to. I don't want to go down the online route where there's a lot of people out there doing the hairstyles online now, online academies, which are fantastic, but I think there's a lot out there now. I don't think I need to be doing that. So I think that's why I got the idea to do the road trip. It's nice to actually connect with people.
It is, it really is.
The online ones are quite hard work because you have to keep putting things on there. You've got a Facebook group to keep people happy. And I feel I'd be doing even more than I do now. So I like the idea of doing a road trip. I think it sounds a little bit different.
I think you are very right in that. Because of what happened last year, we've seen an explosion in online learning and, you know, membership.
It would take me a year because I'm a perfectionist. It would take me probably over a year to do all the filming of the hairstyles. Then post. So yeah, I'd have well missed the boat.
And I think that you are actually, by doing the in-person stuff, you're going to be different. Like you said, it's going to be different because so many people are taking advantage of that online platform because they see it as easy money, because, you know, you do it once and then it's just up and you can make it evergreen and it can be earning money.
A lot of behind the scenes work though with it, with the
people
website.
are going to miss that personal connection. And the more we've moved on, like this year, past year, has been so negative for the personal connection. Like today when we're recording this is a National Cuddle Up Day.
Oh, and I can cuddle you.
but
I didn't know that.
Touch is something that we crave as human beings.
Oh, totally.
Last year it was so lacking, and just that being in the presence, being able to feel somebody's aura, and I don't mean to get woo-woo on people, but just to be in the presence of other people is such a comforting thing that actually I think your courses, road trip, retreat will be absolutely, people will sign up no problem because they've been so
I'm hoping it's a breath of fresh air, maybe, that here we can do this. Look at us, absolutely, fly again. And that's the one thing I'm finding hard is I'm very, very restricted in what I can actually do. And the best thing I can do is to get back on. I'm going to get back and probably next week and start doing the IGTVs again. But yeah, I mean, also what I have been doing to keep positive is trying to keep fit again. I've probably put a stone on, as probably most of us have. So I joined
COVID stone.
COVID stone. So I joined Davina McCall's workout online on 31st of December, actually, because I did do it in the first lockdown. There was a free, I think you got a month free or something. And I quite enjoyed hers. And what I've realised is when you flip to all these different ones, you get in a muddle and you end up not doing anything. So I've paid £49 for the year, which I think is really, really good. Yeah. And there's so much on there. So I've actually been very, very good doing some workouts. I've started running, which I didn't even know I could run. I mean, when I told my friends, guess what I've done? What have you done? I went running. What? I haven't run since I ran for the bus to go to college when I was 16. I didn't do that very well. And I think people started popping up saying they started running, didn't they? So I thought, do you know what? I go walking a lot. I don't run. I get out of breath. I mean, I have to put out 20 bras on so nothing moves. So I thought, right, I'm gonna have a go then. And my daughter said, right, just aim for somewhere to run to. So I thought, right, okay, I'm gonna run. We've got a park about 5 minutes walk away. I thought I'll run through the park from the house, and then I'll get to the end where the entrance is, and I'll stop. So I got all the way there, amazed that I did it, and I thought, I think I can carry on running. So I carried on. I was like Forrest Gump. So I just ran, and it was nice, and I could do it. I mean, I couldn't believe it. So from on, but I had 6 week lull after the wedding being cancelled. I kind of went into a bit of a dark place and watched every single thing you can watch on Netflix and Amazon. So I mean, I'm an expert on that now. I've watched everything. So it got me. I've got out the lull, and today I ran. We've got a farm shop I've been going to. I won't go to the supermarket. I ran to the farm shop, which is probably 15-minute walk. So I did that today. So this was the first thing this morning, and I walked back with a hefty lot of shopping on my rucksack and 2 bags, because as a woman you always buy too much. So I'm keeping very positive at the moment, trying to eat healthily. I will lose that stone. Come back to me at the end of February.
Awesome.
That's my plan.
So good. So good. So just before we sign off, I like things that inspire people. And my Monday motivation is always a quote. Have you got a favourite quote that you like to live by or that's inspired you?
I'm very, because of the positivity thing and reading The Secret and that, I love you get the signs you can have around your house, lots of, so I like those positive quotes. So I have got a few around my house, so I've written them down for you, and I will, I'll be putting on my makeup and there's one there, and I'll be in the kitchen and I've got one up, and you're subconsciously taking them in every day, aren't you? So one that I love, it just says dream big. I love that. Love the life you live. I love this one. She believed she could, so she did. And that's probably the one I like the most. I just dream big and believe in it, and you can do it. Why shouldn't, if that person there can do it, why can't you do it? Have faith in yourself. Knowledge is power. I mean, I am the quote queen. You've asked the wrong person.
We could do a whole podcast just on quotes.
Quotes, cheesy quotes. And also there is a hashtag I like to use on Instagram, and I love to use hairstylists supporting hairstylists to show my appreciation to everyone that supported me, as well as me supporting them just by doing what I do. So to get, I wouldn't do it if I didn't get the positive feedback. There's no point. So supporting each other, being positive, it's got us through that. It's got us through. And we're really good hairstylists. I've cracked out so many hairstyles last year. 47 hairstyles, I think I did.
And the final thing to ask is there a human, famous or otherwise, that has inspired you throughout your life?
Through my life? Is it cheesy to say my dad?
No, it's not cheesy at all. I love that.
Yeah, he's a very strong character. Not strong, but kind. And he's got his head screwed on.
Yeah.
And he's a very strong person. He's got it's called ankylosing spondylitis. It's an arthritic thing. When he was 24, basically his spine got paralyzed and he can't move his head, but he has never claimed disability. He has carried on a normal life. He's 75. He's got his workshop at home. He's amazing. He's got strength. And I think it's the strength.
Yeah.
You can do anything and be your own boss.
Yeah.
Don't work for someone else. Do your own boss.
Yeah.
That. He's given me the strength, I think, all the time. I've always looked up to him and his achievements, really. Yeah. So my dad, there you go. I'll have to give him a link to this podcast.
He's been shouted out a few times. Oh, thank you so much for coming on, Lynnette. I really, really appreciate it. I will pop all Lynnette's links in the show notes on the website, so do head over to that. On a last note, because we are speaking to a fabulous hairstylist, I wanted to let you all know that although my appointment will be postponed again, I am donating my hair to the Little Princesses Trust.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So my hair is supposed to be chopped off on February the 9th, but given the 6-week warning, I think it's going to be later than that. And as some of you may or may not know, I have suffered with alopecia areata since I was about 19 years old. I've had patches over those years that have fallen out, and it's scary. The first time it happened, I thought all my hair was going to fall out. I didn't know what was going on, and the doctor was not very nice to me at the time. Told me that I was wasting his time, and I was just like, it could have been anything. I had no idea what it was at the time, so it wasn't a nice experience. And so the Little Princess Trust provides wigs for children who going through cancer, which is bad enough for them, and losing your hair when you're a little girl has got to be horrific. So I've got a lot of hair, as you all guys have seen, so it's going to be a long one, which will help a little girl be able to do some lovely hairstyles with her hair and not just have to have a short wig. So I will pop a link to my fundraising page. I'm raising money for the trust, for cancer research, and for Macmillan.
Any donations are gratefully received, so do head over to the show notes. You'll find that page and all Lynnette's details. It is bit.ly/WPCUK041. See you next week, guys. Bye for now. Don't forget to hit those stars and leave a review of the podcast where you listen if you found value in what you heard today. It's a free way you can help the podcast reach more people just like you.